All right. Coming up on that.
Wow.
Coming up on the left is a building called River Point. It was built the same year, 2017. Not a Chicago firm. It's the car show is East Coast firm.
Brilliant city.
Something else.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Behind the railroad tracks. Then they put a
Like
park,
a little place
I guess you'd call it a
over
park, out over the railroad tracks. So you see where all those round holes are? That's where the railroad tracks are running in front of the building. They just put this park covered up all the railroad tracks, and those holes are there to allow exhaust from the railroad tracks to come out, right? And that's simple. That's what I say. Well, that's that. Now look here, we're moving right into the merchandise mart. Somebody will just call it the mart. Do you remember that old post office? How big it was? The old post office is 2.4 million square feet of rentable space. This merchandise mart is 4.2 million square feet. I can remember because I just changed the 2.4 into 4.2, right? 4.2 million square feet of rentable space. What is the Willis Tower? 3.8. The Willis Tower is clearly the larger building, but we're talking about rentable space. Look how much space is taken up by elevators in the Willis Tower, huh? Look how much is public space in the Willis Tower. This has this much rentable space. Well, it was built in 1930 or thereabouts. The architects, Graham Anderson Poster White. Now, don't tell me you haven't heard that before. You have heard that before. Oh, yes, you have.
Wow. Look how beautiful that
The
walk
Wrigley
is.
building was built on. The old post office, the Opera House. Okay. Graham Anderson Poster White. It's Art Deco, no doubt about it. If you notice, the panels underneath the windows are green because the accent color of buildings along the river is green,
beautiful.
because the river is green.
It's gorgeous.
Okay. Well, it started out as a wholesale business for a very famous firm called Marshall Fields. Marshall Field Company had a famous
Look at that.
department store here. They had a
Look at that
wholesale
space.
business here.
Like
So
to
they
sit
commissioned
and have a
them
little coffee.
to build this big building for their wholesale business. But it was never successful financially. Architecturally, it was greatly admired, but not successful financially. So in about 1946, right after World War II was over, they sold it for $12 million. In other words, gave it away, just enough to pay the taxes to the family of Joseph P. Kennedy. Joseph P. Kennedy was the father of the president, right? Okay. It turned out to be the single most successful venture that the Kennedy family ever undertook. They turned it into furnishings, wholesale house for furnishings, wholesale furnishings. Okay. Straight ahead of us, you should be able to see it if, as we move along. There's a building over to the right that has a gold spire on it, way down the river. Way down the river.
Yes.
Way down the river. You might not see it, but you will. That is called the St. Jane Hotel. Jane Addams was a famous person.
They ran out of rooms.
Late 1800s, early 1900s, she founded a settlement house. And very famous in Chicago history.